All right, hey everybody. So I'm going to get into my OTA full disassembly tonight. I'm going to remove this focuser flange, and I'm going to get the dew shield off of here, and I'm going to remove the lens cassette for the optics, and this all comes apart really easily. And I'm doing that so that I can paint the inside of this tube, which currently I've been seeing that it has some reflections along the side of the tube, and I think I can improve that. I have some Musou Black paint. I think that's how it's pronounced, and I'll have a link in the description for this. But I thought, what the heck? While I have this apart, I'll go ahead and paint the inside of this and see if I can get rid of that reflections. This stuff is supposed to absorb 98% of light that hits it and should cut down on any reflections. And if that's the case, maybe it will improve contrast in my images or something. So I don't really have anything that I had noticed as being a problem as a result of that. And I don't have any light leaks, but it's just an opportunity, since I'm already have this thing almost all the way apart anyway, to go ahead and see if I can make an improvement or not. And it's not an expensive one to do. So anyway, I'm going to do that and get into painting. There'll be some time tonight where I'll be speeding through some sections, so you don't have to sit and watch me paint for half an hour. And anyway, if you're interested in checking out how this goes, stick around. And my name is Doug, and this is AstroAF. All right, so just a quick rundown. So I'm going to be working on the tube, and I'm going to remove this flange, and I'm going to remove the dew cap, and I'm going to remove the optical cell that's screwed in here, and then I'm going to paint the inside of this tube with the Musou Black paint. I got some super cheap brushes. This was straight when I bought it, and I just put it, actually took my needle nose pliers with the sharp wire cutter end and creased this, and then I bent this over sideways, and this is so that I can get into the inside of the tube here and paint, and I should be able to get halfway down that way and come back the other direction. And then I'm going to let this dry. This will probably be a 2-night thing, so may not finish this tonight. So, but we'll get a start on it, and I'll start disassembling this. So let's jump in and see how this goes. All right, so camera here on the side, and I think this will work out to where you can see things. And pardon, I've got a little bit of a mess here, but so the first thing I need to do is remove this flange, and there are 3 set screws that hold this outer part of the flange on. And actually, I wonder, I might not need to take that apart. Yeah, I can just unscrew that, I think. Yes, I can. So I'll just leave that together. So that came off real easy. Nothing here is too difficult. And then for the optical tube side, I need to unscrew the dew shield from this little beauty ring right here. Then that comes off. And then this is kind of, I don't know exactly what, it's the optical cassette. This holds the lenses, and that simply unscrews off of the end of the tube. And it's pretty dirty. I'm going to be cleaning all of this as I put things back together. I really like this optical assembly. So I'm going to put this into a baggie for now, even though it's really dirty. May as well prevent it from getting any more dirty. And I can put that off to the side. with that unscrewed, I can remove this ring off the tube, and that's out of the way. One thing I'm going to do is that bugs me is this tube, or this ring. Although it's snug, it is just loose enough where it doesn't have enough resistance to stay in place. Like if I might try to take my iPad and put on top of this for flats, and even my iPad is just a little bit too heavy, and then this ring will start sliding down, and that bugs me. And so on the inside of this ring, there's like a little thing of white felt, and I'm going to remove that. And I've got some thicker gray felt that I'm going to cut a little strip of and glue it to the inside of this. And I think that little bit of extra thickness in the gray felt will take up that space and give this a little bit more friction so that it doesn't slide. And if it fits, I may adhere it with this double-sided tape, but I don't know if that'll take up too much room. And if it does, then I will need to use like some Gorilla Glue or something like that to glue it in. So anyway, I can set that off. So I'm going to be painting this, and I think I can show you. Let's do like a before. Try not to shine the flashlight in your eyeballs. But if I shine this in, and try not to get it direct, but you can kind of see there's quite a bit of reflectivity. One thing I really like is that this tube has got a couple baffles in it. It's got one there in the center and then one here at this end. And you know, it's just a really well-built telescope. I have enjoyed using this. I'm really looking forward to get it back together again. So anyway, I'm going to do the same check afterward. When I look at this, this is kind of a dark gray color in here. It's not black. So I'm hoping that the reflectivity that we see there will be less when I put this Musou paint on it. And we will see. So the next thing I want to do is prep a little bit here and make sure that I do not get any paint on the threads of this telescope. So I'm going to use a little bit of painter's masking tape here, and we're going to tape off those threads. This is a low adhesion tape, so it won't stick too hard. And we'll just go around and tape those threads off. And just a little bit short. All right. All right, that'll take care of that. And then on this side, I need to do the threads on the inside of the tube. And as you can probably see there, there's a baffle right there. And then there's another baffle right down inside there. Which I think that's really cool that they put that into this telescope. It's not a terribly expensive telescope by any means, but it's a really well-built telescope, and I think for the money, there's a lot more value in it than you'd expect. This one's going to be a little bit harder. I also can't see very well. Right in there, I think. Gonna have to get my hands in the way of the camera here, sorry. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Just wanted to protect the threads and make sure I don't get paint on those. Then I just want to do the same thing here. I've got some threads on the inside that I want to protect. Getting this tape on the inside is not the easiest. In fact, it's quite hard. Maybe if I start from the middle of the tape. This is actually what that beauty ring screws into. Okay, that looks pretty good. So basically just make sure that stuff I don't want to get paint on, I've got masked off, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I still want to be neat and clean with it, but there's a little spot right there. I need a little bit more tape. Just make sure I've got everything pretty straight there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, I think I'm ready to paint. Okay, I think I'm going to use my headlamp for this so that I can see down inside the tube while I'm painting. And I think that might help because it's pretty dark in there, but looks like everything's clean. So anyway, shake this up really good. And let's see how this goes. That is definitely black. It's so black in there, I can't tell if my brush, how far down inside my brush is getting into the paint. Okay, I think I got it loaded up pretty good there. Let's see. This bent brush works pretty good. Just want to make sure I don't have any runs. Having texture is okay. Actually, we want texture because texture helps to knock down the reflections. And I think this is probably going to take a couple coats, but we will see. It covers really nicely. I don't think it's going to take very much paint. I have probably have quite a bit more paint than I actually need here. But I'm just going to kind of go back over and make sure I don't have any big build up, because I'd rather have multiple thin coats than one thick coat. Okay, let's finish off this side. And that seems to be drying pretty fast. Well, let's let that dry and get flat because it's shiny right now because it's still wet. And we'll take a look and see if it helps. And then we'll go ahead and do the inside of this. I think I'll do this big side first. All of this can be painted inside, so I'm going to go ahead. All right, that looks pretty good. Let me finish off this end here. Not much left to do. All right, so that looks good. It's still wet, so it's still a little bit shiny, but let's see after that dries what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to let that stuff dry, and we will see how it does. These are cheap and disposable, so I'm just going to throw this away, and I'll make a new one for the second coat. And I don't know how long it'll take to dry. It looks like it's drying pretty quick, but I'm going to let it set. So it maybe come back tomorrow evening on this. So anyway, we'll keep plugging along, and hopefully I will have this telescope OTA put back together this week. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, it's night 2, and I got 2 coats of paint on the telescope tube, on the interior of it. The stuff is very black. I'll try and show you here in just a second. It is a magnitude shades blacker than what was in there. I did shine the flashlight into it, and I still saw the same type of lightness on it. So maybe that's not a good test. This is so obviously blacker. I want to try and show you here, so I will do that. I'm going to switch over. I'm also, the other thing I want to get done here tonight is on this kind of it's the fixing ring for the dew shield. And as I had mentioned previously, when it slides on the tube, you get it on there, it is just so, it's snug, but it's loose enough to where if I set like my iPad on top to do flats, it'll sink down. So my thought is maybe removing the felt that's inside here, and I have a little bit thicker felt material here just in a sheet, and it does compress a little bit, and I think even though it's thicker, I think I can cut a strip and like super glue it inside this ring. I'll have to take that white felt out of there, and I think that'll go on. I'll try and test fit it first to see if indeed I can get this on there with this felt inside. I tried a little bit earlier. I'm going to go ahead and cut a strip before I take this white out. I'm going to cut a strip to fit and put it in there, and then just try and do a test fit and see if it'll work with the white felt or not. And if it doesn't, I'm going to pull the white felt out to make some room, and then I'll try again, and hopefully I'm not going to mess this thing up, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, let me go ahead and switch here, and I'll show you the insides of these tubes. So I don't know how easy this is going to be to see, but it is so black in there. If I kind of shine a light, I mean, I'm shining the light right on it, and so bringing that up inside. So there is illumination, but like I said, I just don't know that if that's a good test or not, because this is so ridiculously black. I mean, it's got to be an improvement. And the same thing on the the dew shield here. So I don't know. We will see. I did see a little spot where it had a difference, where my tape had been covering up. I don't know if that will be visible. Let's see. But right in there, you might be able to see the color difference. And that lighter gray that's right there in that, by the threads, that's the original color. And then the black right next to it is, like I said, it's magnitudes blacker. So that may be hard to see here in the way that I'm trying to show it. But anyway, take my word for it. It is definitely blacker. So I think, that's is going to be as good as it gets. Whether or not it makes an improvement, I don't know. The paint was this Musou Black, and I found this over on Amazon, and I'll put a link for it down below. I'm impressed with it. I have so much paint left. I probably only used maybe that much. So I've got, I don't know what else do I want to paint black? I'm not sure, but I've got paint to do it. So I will keep that sealed in at room temperature, and hopefully if I run across something else I want to paint black, I will have paint to do it. So anyway, I want to go ahead and get started with this and see how it goes. So let me zoom in here for you a little bit. Okay, that should do it. Trying to keep things neat here, but I've got a bunch of parts all over the table. So anyway, I'm going to move these out of the way for the time being. Just an attempt to keep this from moving while I try and cut it. And let's see if I can cut a straight line here. Have to score it probably. All right, I think I got it. I just got to clean it up just a little bit here. I do have this ring. It got stuck on here. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. might still be just like the slightest, and shaving off this felt with the razor knife actually did a good job. So it's going to take a little bit more. This is going to wear with some use too. That foam used to be tighter, that from the factory, and it just started loosening up because it just got kind of compressed. All right, I think that should do it. We'll try one more time here. And I think I'm going to call it a night, and we will get this thing assembled tomorrow as far as we can. But I need to clean this up a little bit, and I need to clean that optics cassette before I put it back in here. Yep, I think that'll do it. Okay, that's a lot more snug now. I'm pretty sure I could set my iPad on that and it won't move now. So anyway, I will continue this on tomorrow, and so I'll see you then. Have a good night. All right, hey everybody. So I am continuing on. This is the third evening. Obviously, I'm just taking my time here, which is fine. I'm still waiting on some things to arrive. Probably about 5 or 6 more days. So up to now, I finished up the painting, and this is blacker than black. It is just really, really pleased with that. Last night I was working on this ring, and I did I added new felt inside here, and I am unhappy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put things together now, but I have ordered some 1/4 inch by 1/16 inch tall foam one-sided adhesive tape that I think is going to work better than this. This is just kind of rough, and I'm just not liking the way that it turned out. So I'm going to peel this off on Sunday and try replacing it with the foam tape. And it should be pretty easy because the foam tape is actually, I don't even have to cut it to width. It'll just need to be cut to length inside this ring here. So anyway, yeah, planning on redoing that. It probably won't make video, but just wanted to let you know that I wasn't happy with the way this turned out. Let's see. I'm going to be reinstalling the optics, and this is really dirty, so I'm going to be cleaning that as well. And then I plan then to go ahead and reinstall the focuser, and then probably start putting the image train. The first thing that'll go on after the focuser is the rotator. So yeah, and I might do that tonight. This will come back off, and this will be a separate video. I'm going to take this apart. I wanted to show specifically on the rotator how to remove this ring and realign it. I understand that it is possible to do so, and there's some little grub screws around the outside edges here that apparently can be loosened or removed, and then this indicator here for our degrees can then be rotated into place, because as I mentioned before, once this is tightened on, it gets tight at about the 5 o'clock position down here, and I would like to have this scale degrees at 0 up on the top. So I want to see if I can figure out how to do that. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll start assembling this tube again. And I have blown these out really well. I actually used my air compressor just to make sure, because this felt had a lot of fibers in it, and I had quite a bit of like dust and stuff inside there. So I got all that cleaned out really well. So I'll go ahead and switch cameras. And so to begin with, I need to fit the ring onto the tube. It was a pretty good fit. I do have to say that. It does fit really well. I am just not happy with how it feels, and I think it is going to cause some wear over time, moving back and forth on the tube to the outside of the tube. And I would like something that's maybe just a little bit softer, I guess is what I'm saying. So with that on there, I guess I'll just go ahead and clean the optics cassette here. Now, I have done a video on optics cleaning before, so I'll leave put a card up here. And if you're interested in the optics kit that I'm using, the cleaning kit, which is the Altura cleaning kit, I will leave a link for that in the description. It's a nice kit. It has a rocket blower. It's got some really nice cloths that the microfiber, and this black one in particular is super nice. Cleaning fluid and a cleaning brush, and really just everything that you need. It has these a little booklet of cleaning tissues, which work really well. Looks like most of the dust was on the outside. I had noticed that after it had fallen, it had gotten quite a lot of dirt from being on the ground. Yeah, really nice cloth. I love this. It does a really good job on all of my optics, my filters. This is probably my favorite part of this cleaning kit. So with that, I can go ahead and screw this optical cassette on. Okay, that's better. So then let's go ahead and do the focuser assembly. Now this particular flange, it has a rotator built into it, which is great, except that once I get the focuser on and then I get the Vixen rail on the bottom, it interferes with the focuser hitting the Vixen rail when it rotates, so which is the impetus for wanting to get the this StellaLyra rotator. So I really don't want this to be able to rotate anymore, and so I think they've got these little set screws here, and those can be kind of snugged up, and I think that will prevent this from rotating. I think. So now if I loosen this, yeah, that won't rotate at all now, which is the way that I want it. We'll go ahead and leave that in. I'm going to tighten it down. So the focuser assembly, we'll just slide into this flange and then screw in. All right, cool. So coming back together. So at this point, the StellaLyra threads onto the focus tube. And you can see how when that's tight, this is down, the 0 indicator's down here at around the 5 o'clock position. I think, where'd it go now? No, it's at the 6 o'clock position, fully tight now, so we'll tighten that up. And then I have this adapter, which will allow me to get onto my field flattener. All right, now the field flattener is a bit of a challenge. So we'll start by taking it off, maybe. No? Maybe not. There we go. So this will be a challenge to get this apart, and so I'm going to need to double band wrench it here to do so, I think. Get on it. And then hopefully we can get this to rotate. Oh, okay. Yeah, very tight. And I was joking in a short once about the most valuable piece of astrophotography gear, and it's right here. And these things, man, you can't have a telescope without having band wrenches. All right, so I'm going to be separating my field flattener from the tube, and I'll be putting that in a box. Field flattener will screw onto here, and I really like that I'm going to have a solid connection all the way back now, where before this is so tight I can't loosen it right now, but this ring here tightens up on this field flattener and causes these other rings or bands on the south side to compress, and there's little rubber strips in between that expand when they compress together, and that expands out into the tube that it's in, and it centers itself, and it actually works really good. And I use that in conjunction with my my compression ring, and that was holding my entire image train, and it felt pretty secure. I did feel like it had just like the very, very slightest amount of movement in it, and you know, and to be honest with you, I have had and I'm interested in finding out if this improves it, just the slightest of tilt in my images on just on the bottom, not on the top, and noticing that my stars aren't as good in the bottom left and right corners as they are in the center and the top left and right corners. And I was wondering if that is a symptom of tilt, and I was wondering if it might have something to do with this tube on the field flattener and the compression ring, and wondering if now that this is solid, if that will maybe improve. We'll see. Maybe it won't have any effect at all. But. All right, so at this point, I guess we can move to the OAG. I guess I will go ahead and take this camera out. I don't know about you, but I have a heck of a time getting my OAG aligned like I would like it with my camera sensor. And if I could get it so that it was like straight up and down, that would be with the camera lens, that would be really cool. And then I also have to be cognizant of the filter drawer so that it's not lined up with the guide camera. This escutcheon that's around here, it interferes. So this has to be off to the side. I need to be able to make sure that I can get the filter drawer in and out without any clearance problems. So we'll start there. And then, then it's the magic trick of trying to get this camera to sensor to line up. It's very clean. I'm not lucky enough for this to actually work out, I don't think. And this needs to be cleaned. But as I was saying, there's no way I'm lucky enough that this will line up. And it's always a battle to try and find, well, is that clean living or what? So that's actually perfectly lined up. So what that does is that gets my prism directly in line with my camera. I just need to give this the slightest to tighten that up. And that is perfectly lined up. I have fought this, I can't tell you, ever since I got the OAG, I have been having alignment problems. And so the OAG was off to the side just a little bit, and I'm fitting it in the corner, which worked great. But it always just sort of bothered me because it's, I guess, symmetry. So hey, so that's really cool. So image train, and it's solid. Everything is physically connected. All right, that's really cool. And then just got to clean the filter. See if I'm lucky enough, this will just blow off. Cleaning the filters is probably my least favorite. They're just kind of difficult. Actually, that looks pretty good. I guess I could put my rings back on. Let's see, that's the bottom. I'll need to get my rails, which I don't have here handy, to get these lined up. So I'll just snug them for now because they're going to move again. I think this is somewhere in that neighborhood. I'll get those dialed in when I get my ready to put my rail on, which I'm not ready right now. Well, I think that's a good stopping point. So it's coming back together. I am so happy with that alignment. I have never, since I got the scope, have been able to get it in alignment. Really happy. It's looking pretty sharp. Won't be long till we have it back together. Let's see, what are next steps? I have waiting on the electronic focuser to kind of finish this up, and I've got to get my rails on. And after that, it's kind of computers and cable management and all that stuff, which is not going to take too long. So yeah, hey, it's coming back together. So anyway, progress is made, and thank you so much for joining me on this video. And I think the next thing that I'm going to do is the rotator, and try to get it so that it's dialed in with 0 on the top, and I'll be happy with that if I can make that happen. So, and anyway, again, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you feel I've earned your subscription, please hit that subscribe button. So thank you very much. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF.